We have a date for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. It's happening on November 20th through to December 2nd in 21 days from now. Much like last year's event, what we're going to have is a couple of halls, and each day there's going to be a different manufacturer taking over the halls. Also, it's going to be a free flight event. I'm assuming it's a free flight event for everyone. This is last year's event, and what they did was every day there'd be different ships being shown, but you could also test out and fly those ships. Free fly open to anyone who simply downloads the client, gets in there, and enters a certain code to get access to all the different ships. This translated into a massive amount of new pledges and new people backing Star Citizen. I have no doubt it'll be the same this year. We have some sneak peeks here, I guess. This could be an Aegis or a Spirit Talon, maybe. Some people saying this is a Crusader of some sort, or a time flux capacitor, and that looks to be a turret for some ship. I guess we'll see more about those very soon. We also had Inside Star Citizen come out with Disco Lando giving us this year's Halloween special. And where was that? He's addressing the inevitable post about cringe. Last year he put this up. You know, let's talk about this. This is pretty funny, all right? Let's watch this first.
Last year. This is so cringe.
This is so cringe.
This person is so terrified. They're cringing in terror.
Handled perfectly. I'm glad Disco Lando went with it. A Cringetastic Halloween. And did a great job. I really liked this year's one. It wasn't bad at all. Some new information coming out in this year's Cringetastic Inside Star Citizen edition. Let's start off with a sneak peek at the UI with Simon Bursey. So here's a look at the new UI, and I gotta say, it does look impressive. Keep in mind, this is also, it's not flat, it's kind of 3D in that space also. VR ready maybe? Take a look at these HUD elements here.
I think what we've ended up with after all this kind of concept and design
that is very
something
cool.
That's quite unique for a game, because it's been very well designed, and it's also had a lot of time visually to try and get it looking good.
So what are these things? THC? Okay. I guess if you live in some states or in Canada, it's good to know what your THC levels are. Thrust, and more THC on that side. What is that?
So if we look at the final concept, we'll go over some of the features that are there now.
And the boot up and boot down sequence look pretty good. Check it again. Let's just go back a second there. See the way it goes away. Watch this.
So if we look at the final concept, we'll go over some of the features that are there now.
I like it a lot.
If we start at the top, this is where all your warning messages are primarily. So these will cascade in, and much like the current version, they will be coloured to indicate severity. Directly underneath that is a new element dealing with your emissions or signatures, and sort of
that's nice.
Infrared cross-section and EM signature relative
very
to the background,
important for stealth gameplay.
Very cool for stealth gameplay.
You said
and then we have sort of the main piece of the HUD, which is much wider than we currently have, and that has...
So yes, very different from what we currently have. They've maximized use of the screen now and spread everything out.
Everything to do with your velocity, thrust capacity, your thrust amount, your fuel amount, your vertical bearings, and then your altitude above the ground. Underneath there we have two little spherical widgets, which is sort of your 3D velocity indicator, because quite often in space, where you're pointing is not where you are actually heading, so these will give you some visual indication of that in 3D. And then right at the very...
Okay, I never knew I needed that, but okay, that's interesting.
Very bottom we have your sort of status warning, so whether you're in coupled or decoupled,
coupled, ESP, VTOL gear,
whether you're in VTOL mode, your landing gear.
Now you'll be able to know if your gear is up or down without having to go and look from the outside of the ship. Nice.
You countermeasure status, and then...
Oh, and finally, it shows you how much shaft and flares you have. Nice.
Finally, bottom right is what sort of weapon firing mode you're in, whether it's auto gimbals here, manual gimbals, or fixed.
Very good. All right, let's move on to resource management with Dan Truffin, who is lead systems designer. No, this isn't resource management with food. This is how you apply resources in the ship. We're talking power, supply, and onwards. Now, large ships have that seat for an engineer, and the question has been, until today, what exactly is it that the engineer does? You're going to sit there and do what exactly? Well, he's going to show us now exactly what the engineer is going to do, and boy, this is adding a lot to the game. Check this out.
So as you can see, you can kind of understand the basic shape of a hammerhead. As soon as I turn on the simulation, we can see we have both power plants are starting to produce power. The fuel tank starts to get drained. The battery is on full capacity.
Just so you understand what you're looking at here. Okay, the battery is there in the yellow. Lights are in green, relays are in blue. You have your power plants in orange, they're labeled PP. You have your turrets, and everything takes power from the power plants or battery. And the mechanics on your ship, if you're wondering what will a mechanic do in times of combat, these relays are going to get blown out, and you have to run around and repair these relays. But not only that, your engineer is going to be rerouting energy from the power plants or the batteries, or turning off lights or turning off relays to give power to turrets who may have not been knocked out of power. There's so much happening here to make everything run smoothly in a point where you might be in combat, or if a battery gets taken out or your power plant gets taken out. Suddenly we have a massive amount of responsibility for an engineer and mechanics. This adds a lot to the game. You will not go anywhere anymore into any kind of serious combat without mechanics and engineers in your ship. This raises the importance of having crew on these multi-crew ships as opposed to flying solo, because if you get caught solo, there's no ways you can repair this while in battle. But take a listen here.
Have these relays. Relays are a new concept that we're introducing in the ship in order for all those resources to travel from the fuel tank to the power plant, from the power plant to the battery, from the battery to the lights. Everything travels through these relays. Now, each relay you have on your ship is going to consume power. So the less you have, the more efficient you're going to be. The more you have you're going to be more redundant. For example, in this case, let's say someone sabotages this and they destroy this part. You can see already this part of the ship lost resources. That
raises amazing gameplay possibilities for espionage. If you're on an 890 jump, any large ship, and they don't know you're on there, you can sabotage systems on the ship and potentially knock out the entire ship by taking off certain systems, perhaps taking down the shields before your friends can enter and take over the ship. It adds so much potential to what will be amazing gameplay possibilities.
We lose this one, this power plant is off. Let's say now I need to start shooting. So I'm manning my turrets and they're shooting. I'm starting my... Hammerhead doesn't have these weapons exactly here. We're just trying to simulate a ship at this point. You will start notice my lights started going off because in the priority my lights are very low priority. If you look at the battery is starting to drain. Let's say at this point it reaches 0. It ran out. Now this turret is off, it doesn't have power. This one is not running at what we requested because there's only one power plant running right now.
Amazing. So can you imagine? Sabotage the power plants, sabotage the battery, and now the turrets run out of power when that battery is drained. Shields go down, turrets go down. Your friends come along in the Caterpillar, board the ship, and take it. Amazing. I'm really, really excited to see this come into the game itself. And I guess this was the best part of the entire show there. So yeah, let me know, guys. What do you think about the new resource management options they've shown us here? It adds an amazing amount of new gameplay possibilities, not only for espionage, but for your engineers, for the mechanics, for people on the ship to walk around, run around, and repair systems to keep the ship operating at optimal levels. Amazing stuff. Anyway, guys, let's wrap it up there. If you enjoy this content, you know what to do. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. Your comments below. Always appreciated. I'll catch you in the next one.